We were born for this. For what?
To be successful.
To build legends. And we're walking into an opportunity right now where legends will be made. Because I tell you, I've been doing this for 30 years now. What's going to happen is sales are going to cool. We're going into the fourth quarter anyway. It always happened. And agents are going to freak out and leave the business. The agent population is going to drop from 1.6 million. We'll probably get down to 1 million, which is going to hurt NAR because they won't get as many dues. And they won't have as much lobbyists to bribe the public. And then the people that work are going to do more because there's going to be more coming. And then the market's going to speed up again as we come into the new year and people set their goals and they go crazy. So we just need to weather the storm, right? So, and it's going to be a weak storm, kind of like yesterday versus the day before. I'm having my driveway poured and they did, not poured, resurfaced. And these poor guys, I'm thinking, you know, it's not an inexpensive job, but it's totally dependent on the weather. So they budgeted 5 days for this project. And now we're on day 7. The price doesn't go up, right? And, you know, the guy I hired put a crew on it. He's probably paying the crew 10 grand and they've got 4 people on their team. So they're splitting this. So losing 2 or 3 days, and they probably have 3 more days to get it done. This costs them a lot of money, having rain screw them up. And we're pretty fortunate, aren't we? Can we work in the rain?
We work in the rain all the time.
We can drive our cars. We can do it. So sometimes it's being grateful for the little things, you know.
Is it being poured, Greg, or is it
no, it's being
cement?
resurfaced.
Surfaced, okay.
Resurfaced. And
Better than snow, better than snow.
Mm-hmm.
right. All right, let's dive in. I think we have a cool thing. So all the agents know on Mondays we have a manager meeting at 11, and it usually is over at 12:30. And the last thing we do is we plan something entertaining for you guys because we want to make sure your mindset's in the right place to go out the rest of the week. And what we're going to do today, I think is going to be fun. We'll see how it comes across. Good morning, team. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, sharing my screen. Boom. There we go. The crowd is building. Kathleen, why don't you read off our quotes?
Sure. Starting with number 1, since it's September and kids are back in school, it's time to refocus, get back to work. I have learned not to let rejection move me. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think.
That's a good belief to have. Be the alternative.
Right?
You are weaker than you know. You are. I think we'll do better.
Attitude is the little thing that makes the big difference. Winston Churchill. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney. Lastly, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. Thomas Edison, my favorite.
Interesting. I was talking to Angelique yesterday and we were talking about some of the quotes and some of the things we say. And we were talking about the secret and the law of attraction. And, you know, we did a class yesterday, Jeff and Mike did, talking about, you know, the fuck how temple. Don't worry about how, just create a why for what you're doing. And part 2 of that is, and I really liked it. Mike Dooley did a segment and he likened the why to telling your GPS where you want to go. Right. So if you say, I want to go to Joe Diener's house and you put his address in and I'm in Apollo Beach, it's going to give me a route and take me to Joe because I put into the GPS where I wanted to go. Right. And if there was a roadblock somewhere along the way, Waze or Google is going to say, hey, changing course, we're going to go over this way now, and then we're going to get to Joe's house this way. Right. So the effort from me was to create the waypoint, or same thing, taking a boat overseas, put the waypoint in, and it will guide you to that answer. But what do you have to do? Put the car in drive, put the boat in forward, keep the course it puts you on, right? So I thought that was just, our dreams come our way if we have the courage to pursue them and put the car in drive. That's kind of cool. All right. We are going to do a new format for Next Level University. We pushed the date because next week was too fast for us. So October 17th to the 21st, we have a 5-day event. We're going to go from 8:30 to noon, and it's going to be an event, right? And it's going to cover, and we've got a whole 3-week plan just to put it all together. Jimmy's already done a great job with the outline. We're going to do core competencies, right? We all need, I personally wrote a contract last night. I haven't written a contract in a long, long time. I mean, really a long, long time. I've had contracts go through, but attorneys always did them. But I actually wrote a contract last night and I did it. I sent it to Sam to prove it, to make sure I did it right, because I haven't done it in a long time. But the core competencies are knowing .loop, knowing Moxie, the different channels of Moxie, knowing the DISC, knowing the BAK, because we don't want to just send you out there like Jeff's analogy yesterday is a caveman with a club, right? You want to have a little bit of finesse and a little skill to make your job easier. If you want to just club people, okay, but you're not going to build the $130, $1,000 repeat client that way. So we're going to teach those core competencies on day one, and then we're going to dive into the archetypes. So one archetype on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, one on Friday. And we're going to show you all that most of the archetypes do everything we talk about. They just do it in a different way. So if you're kind of tossed on which archetype you are, or you gravitate to, watch all of them and you'll get a better idea. If you already know, then pay attention to that particular day. We're going to blow your mind with opportunities that you could gravitate to. On my next list, some changes. So Joe Diener in South Tampa is going to become the core manager of South Tampa. And Otis is taking a corporate position with us as the corporate recruiter, right? Because we know as a brokerage that agents are not getting leadership and guidance. We give leadership and guidance. We need to add working agents to our team because the sales are going to slow. So it's a very important role that Otis is going to take part in. And Joe is more than capable, especially with Angelique's help running South Tampa. So high five, Mr. Diener.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward to it.
I can't see if you're on the screen because I'm on limited screen now, but I'm really excited about working with you. We got a team meeting tomorrow on Thursday to put the plans into effort for that. And I'm going to ask the agents for help on this too. We've got a concept that, and this is I'm not being egotistical, so don't take it that way. I've been a broker for 30 years. We've done 50,000 transactions, had lots of management training. And what happens is a team leader is basically a brokerage within a brokerage. And oftentimes the team leader doesn't have a lot of management experience or leadership experience to motivate the team. But they're good at attracting team members because they're offering a handout. So we want to target, and they make it hard to target because you might be dealing with the David Lovitch team, but you're dealing with Susie, right? And Susie doesn't show up in the MLS. We can't see how many units she did. We can't do any forecasting for her, and she's hard to find. But you guys, when you do your deal sheets, if you put on that you're working with a team, let us know, because Sam is now flagging those files and pointing them out to us, because that's what we're going to specifically, like, we want you to focus in on a niche. We're going to focus on a niche because these team members, in many cases, are not being empowered, educated, encouraged. They're being pushed into a corner and saying, this is the function you do. And they get little compensation for that, but they do it a lot. And a lot of them want to, and a lot of them have joined us lately and said, oh my God, this is so liberating. I'm not like an automaton to do the same thing over and over again. I get to do different things and have fun, because we have a motto of have fun, make money. So if you're working with somebody who's decent, good, then we want to talk to them. And if they're not, they won't. And of course, there's a bonus in there for you. I think it's $1,250. As we get paid, you get paid. So if you come across them, please let us know on the recruiting front. This is just a thing I wanted to go off on a sidebar. When the market cools, and it's cooling, I'll show you that in a minute, efforts have to go up, right? And the biggest effort I can see asking you guys to do right now is to nurture your past leads. I can't let it go in my head how many people tried to buy last year or two and got frustrated, fed up, annoyed. They just don't like making 5 offers on a house and losing every one, right? So they retrained, they pulled out of the market. And now that the market has changed, there's more opportunities. Every article I'm reading now is saying buyers have more power, buyers have more power, buyers have more power. So those of you who have been with us for a while, you've got a lot of leads that have come through that now it's time to reach back out, text them, video text them. Markets change. Are you interested again? Those are really important things to do as the market cools, because you've got a pipeline of leads and we need to work them, right? Third thing, it's back to good habits. And I don't want to say back to basics, because a lot of the basics aren't really that good. But when I write things on, winning listing presentations. We're back to when you make a listing presentation, we have a Beggins listing system that goes through all that. And last year we didn't have to do it. We could just go list the house. We got to get back to the good habits of making a strong listing presentation, which will come out of Next Level U, probably in the prospector section, because they're the one who has to be spot on with their things. They're meeting strangers. Using Moxie, we're going to show you some Moxie stuff today too. What a professional way. Remember, the president of Moxie says, our job is to make you look better than you looked before. It's to make you look more professional. I sent out my first recruiting Moxie thing yesterday, and it's really cool. I haven't talked to the prospect yet, but I'm curious what she's going to have to say about it. And then here it is, counseling sellers. I told you the story about a house I went and looked at with Thomas, and there was mud daubers all over the front porch, and the pavers were crooked, and you're not going to get away with crap like that now. There are competitors on the market. The new home builders have inventory that's spit polished and shine. We've got to counsel our sellers now and take control of that and put our houses on the market strong again. Counseling buyers that we can get requests in many cases. Now, Bob Pasquarello called me on Saturday, very proud of himself, and he deserves to be proud of himself. He did a fantastic job, but he got a listing in Sun City, a 1986 house, original as all get out, but it has a pool and it's not a golf course. And he priced it at $300,000, which in that neighborhood, I remember that neighborhood when I used to work in Sun City, and that was a $150,000 house. Now it's a $300,000 house. He got 8 offers on the same day, and it sold for $315,000. So don't tell me that the market's slowing down. That guy had a really nice trip, right? But what was it? It was a micro market. There's not many pool homes in Sun City Center. So a pool home came on the market and people want pool homes, and I'll be damned if they didn't get in line and stand up and pay over asking. You're going to hear from the managers in a minute about the hot sheet from yesterday and just see the different things that are going on. Looking forward to that. Advise on the deal killers. We have to do this. I mean, even if it risks losing your deal. The deal killers are air conditioners, roof, insurance, and taxes. We have a duty to our customer to either prepare our seller for what a buyer is going to have to deal with, or to prepare our buyers for what they're going to have to deal with. Because empathy is a big part of sales. I was talking to Andy Simmons the other day, and she sold a $3 million house in Tampa on the water last year. Her buyers called her freaking out because when they bought the house, the MLS said the taxes were $20,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
They got their trim notice like we all did, and their taxes went over $45,000 a year. So a doubling in taxes. That's something as a good agent we should be talking to them about. And I'm not saying she didn't, but they called and wanted to fight it. And we talked about how to do that because I've done it. And it's probably not a good idea because at $45,000, they only assess the house at like 2.2 million. And they're allowed to assess at 100% of assessed value, of appraised value, of market value, which would be $3 million. And you can't argue that market value is $3 million when you paid $3 million. So at a $3 million assessed value at a 23 millage point, you're looking at over $60,000 a year. So you kind of don't want to raise your hand and say, hey, reassess me, because it could go the wrong direction, right? So advising on property taxes is a big deal. And we did a little class on this last week, and everybody was chatting in, be the trusted advisor, right? Even if it costs you the deal. So Joe, if you're working with the buyer and you're showing them a house and, you know, the seller bought it 20 years ago and their property taxes are capped at $6,000. And now you're going to sell a house for $700,000. Just figure 20%, or it's going to be about what the taxes are going to be. So that's be a $14,000 tax bill. So they're looking at 6, they're budgeting for 6, they're going to get tapped with 14. Have that conversation.
Yeah, and that's a conversation you have with them when you're first starting with them, explaining the listings that they're getting, and you know, you can have 2 houses next door to each other with 2 different tax rates. So, you know, because one's been in the house for 10 years and the other one just moved in last year.
Yep.
I was going to add to what you're saying. Another big deal is new construction. Sometimes the new construction title companies don't put in enough money for escrow, and it becomes a big issue the first year when they when they move in, because not only are they short, but now the payment will almost be double because they've got to make up the shortage. So it's really good to try to make sure you look at a closing statement to see how much their escrows are.
And sometimes loan officers will use the lower tax record
Yeah, well, they'll use the
No.
land value or something, you know?
and they'll just create the escrow account so the buyer can qualify.
Right.
And they're gonna get sunk when they gotta make up the deficit for this year and the deficit for next year, and they end up with a double escrow payment for the next year. And it's tough for them.
Yeah, so you gotta look at that and have a conversation with them, either at closing or something to be banking some money, padding their escrow account in the mortgage company, or they're gonna be screwed.
Or sometimes the escrow could be too
Adjusted.
much, and then the lender wants to refund it. So we need to let them know to keep it there.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And it's a touchy subject to have, but you gotta have it with the buyer, because you don't want them, a year and a half later, like right now, when they bought their house in 2020, right now they're going through, they're going through the adjustments, and they get in and they're double whammied on that. So
Yep. They're good. So being the trusted advisor, this is what I'm saying when I say get back to good habits. It's having the conversations that could cost you a deal, but it's going to keep you the customer, right? We don't want to put it in a bad position. So now, okay, so here we are. Market sense. Active listings up to 247 from 244 last week. Catastrophic, right? No, not at all. It's good for us, right? Because it creates market time. It creates sign calls. It creates all other ways for us to capture customers. So I like having more listings, right? I didn't like being in the 90s. It was too stressful. 247 and growing is good. This is like from 9/1 to 9/9 because the weekends weren't in when I got this data. So we had 18 listings taken. Only 1 out of 18 went pending.
wow.
Wow. Now that's, once again, didn't count the weekend, but so that's telling you, okay, prepare your sellers. This is not March of 2022 where houses sell like that. This is September of 2022, and we're going to be marketing listings now. Very exciting. Sales, we had 39 sales though in the first 9 days. That's pretty damn strong. $500,000 in commission with an average commission of $12,948 is what our new sales have been. We are blessed because prices have gone up so high. We've already closed 25 transactions this month in the first 9 days. That's pretty strong. $237,000, but that's an average commission of $9,400. So we're somewhere between $9,000 and $12,000 average commission. And for the end of the month, we've got another 131 closings to go. If everything closes, we're looking at right at $1.9 million, which is under my $1.2 million mark, which, we need to think about. So that's that. So all in all, super strong. $1.9 million is tolerable. It's just when you get used to $2 million, you get used to $2 million. So that's that. On deck with me today, let's hear from Megan. I think she's online with us. And
Good
then we're
morning.
going to play
Good morning.
Good morning.
We just wanted to come in and say good morning. I wanted to recap from the meeting, from the training we had on Thursday.
You guys did a
Um,
great job on that.
Thank you. We
That
appreciate
was fun. And you guys, as the agents watching, you got so involved. It was really, we learned a lot of lessons from that. We're gonna do more of that type of stuff.
Yeah, it was really fun. I wanted to announce our gift card winners real quick. I will be receiving the gift cards today, so I'll be contacting everybody to get those out. There were 5 of them. Sarah Shineberry,
Yep.
Jamie Wilbur, Lana Shackelford, Nancy Conley, and Thomas McCombs. So I have contacted them already, but I'll be in contact today once they're delivered to get everything out for you guys.
Super cool.
Very
And
excited.
we planned out the next quarter. We got the 1031 exchange coming.
Yes, in October, we will have a 1031, Claudia at 1031, she'll be doing the training. So that's really exciting too.
Mhm. And there's one other one too. So
Yeah, November, we have November planned out as well, and that's a FERPTA.
FERPTA, right.
Yes, so
Cool.
they'll talk about the withholdings, when they'll apply, how they'll apply, and how FERPTA works for our sellers.
Yep, perfect.
That's always magic.
Regina just typed in. And when you do tell them to escrow more money, they set the money aside, they go and buy new furniture and a new car with the house.
Oh.
Yep.
Then they get in trouble. Okay, well, thank you. We had a good month of Paramount Title too. I mean, July kind of fell, August kind of fell through the, I'm sorry, July fell through the floor and then August came up and was double what we did in July. So
Yeah.
Yes, it was
August
very
picked
nice
up.
for August.
Mhm.
the summertime woes.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you, ladies.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Okay, I need to share this. Hot sheet report. Okay, managers. I've got it up. You guys know what you're going to say. So what the idea was, it's to give our agents real time, real life examples of what's happening in the marketplace. So as the managers, we had a pretty good deal, hot sheet yesterday, to talk to the agents and say what they did. So who wants to start? Don't all jump in at one time.
I can start.
We can start. Everybody start.
Eeny, meeny, miny, Kathleen, you start.
Okay. Good morning, good morning. I'm gonna talk about Kristen Dunlop. She is on the meeting with us. She's not on our hot sheet yet. She's one of our newer agents, but Kristen's gonna talk to us about how she really does fit all the four architects. She prospects, markets, she's the hunter, she's the networker, she's also the strong converter. And she's gonna tell us about keeping a deal together and what it's like between the lender, insurance, and inspections and all the hoopla sometimes you have to go through, but she's really done an awesome job of keeping the deal together. And we're talking about somebody who's been learning all different types of properties, contracts, everything's been coming at her. So if Kristen could raise her hand, I know she's online with us.
Well, that's not what we were going to do today.
Oh, I thought that's what we were.
Well,
We were gonna
I
talk
thought
about,
we were gonna do that, but that's all
So did
right.
I.
No, you
we
actually
were gonna
said
look at the hot
that.
sheet and say what real time is happening.
Okay.
Oh,
You can
okay.
skip me.
We're
It's
gonna
fine.
get the deal for
Joe
us.
Jessica, my daughter,
Yeah.
got a listing and you're going to report how she got that listing and we're going to talk
Yes.
about that. So
Well, we can do that. So Jessica does a lot of networking and she's been working very hard with
Easter seals.
Easter seals. Thank you. I was going to say March, not Easter seals. And she's, networking there. She's been, she was, I think, president last past year. So she's networking and she got a listing from one of the people that she works with. And it's all about letting people know exactly what you do. And that's what she did. So she went in there and got that from prospecting, well, and networking with Easter seals.
Yeah, and what's cool about that is it's an easier win on the listing presentation because generally you're not competing with somebody else.
That's right.
So that's a neat way to go.
And they already know you, right? Because you've worked with them, and she happened to work with this woman on the committee. So she, she knew them. So it is an easier thing.
Also, she's been on the board for 2 years,
Yes.
goes to board meetings once a month
Mhm.
and so it takes time to build that trust, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Julie, how did Mindy get that listing on Wild Elm Court?
I reached out to Mindy, Amy, I know about Kim, and Danielle. Mindy didn't get back to me. So I don't know if it's her sphere or if it was past client or something like that. But Amy has, she's on the hot sheet for 3 different transactions. And Amy is, her personality profile is a D with CI. So she's a hunter converter type agent. And the first one is actually a deal that she partnered up with somebody on to buy an investment property herself. And the second one was from her sphere, a family friend that had been looking for several months. And the third one was the relocation lead from Ashley's department. Amy's really very active with Ashley and Megan in Relo. Danielle Salgado, down further, she has a quite interesting sphere from her husband's job. She has 5 transactions that she's done this year alone with people from that sphere, just that sphere. She also has another listing that's going to be coming up. I think it's going to hit the hot sheet today. And that's with a past client. Danielle is an I with an SD as her personality profile. So she's a networker, marketer type agent.
Mhm.
And Kim Bennigan, the one, the new contract, that one is with her sphere that she has has been a past client and has stayed in touch with. Kim is a supportive, an SC is her personality, so she is a marketer converter type agent.
Wow. And the purpose of this is so everybody sees it takes all types, right?
Yep.
Kat, do you know about Nicola's deal? Listing?
I do. He is also a marketing converter type. He was doing a lot of farming and he had an interview and he did really well. He beat out 4 other agents to get this deal under his belt. And I'm very, very proud of him because this is one of his second listings and he does everything that we tell him to do.
Mhm.
We
Nice.
also have Kristen on there on new contracts. Same thing. She goes out and does a lot of marketing. She does a lot of hunting. She's a prospector and she is about ready to convert this one to closing. It's a lot of hard work, but she's on it. And my apologies, I misunderstood. I wasn't on the meeting yesterday, so I only caught part of what we were doing. So
No, I was supposed to call you after.
sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
Chris, you got 3 Apollo Beach people who got listings. Know the stories behind them?
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna start off real quick with Team Imagine on a couple things on the hot sheet because I think it goes well with what you were talking about earlier too. So listing wise, Team Imagine, I'm gonna actually talk about them twice today. So they got a listing from their sphere in South Shore Falls. So it's actually a family member, but we know that in this market, there's still people that have to sell and have to buy, and the motivation is where it needs to be. So you have to be in front of your sphere, no matter if they're a family member or not, to ensure that you are that trusted advisor when that happens. The other thing I want to talk about with Team Imagine and actually Ray Monahan is the property that's back on the market because it goes directly to what you were saying about good habits. So this property hit the market and the seller declined to do a pre-loved home, doing a pre-loved inspection, offering a home warranty, all that good stuff. And I'm going to talk about 2 things with this. I want to talk about the buying agent on the other standpoint. When we talk about being a trusted advisor first, if we were bringing that buyer, one of the most important things for this client that put it under contract is they wanted to install propane into this community. And that was never asked. That was never brought up at all. And just with a quick conversation with the listing agent, they could have found out, what it would possibly cost if they could or couldn't actually do it. And then the contract may never have even come to fruition if the agent took the diligence and time to ask the right questions to the listing agent. So
if they wanted gas at the range, at the dryer, at the hot water heater, and they wanted it installed already, and they went to a property that did not have gas, and that's a pretty serious ask. And the agent had no clue.
No idea. So needless to say, that came back on the market because of that, but also they were able to.
Does the association not allow them to bury a propane tank? And
You can, but they want it actually installed to the kitchen through the block for the range into the house, which is going to be extensive and it's going to be very, very costly.
Plus running propane pipe, especially if you're running from one side of the house, the other, could be a couple grand.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
And so they did get the inspection report back also, and there were a couple things that popped up. So now they have a roofer that's coming out to take a look to make sure that they still have some life on it because it's an original roof. They're now offering a home warranty, and they're even talking about doing a price decrease for it. So, I'm not saying, obviously they took the time to sell them and let them know how important it is to, get a pre-loved inspection and things like that. And the seller just decided not to. I mean, this is real stuff that's happening out there. So,
well, that's the back to good habits, right?
yep, exactly.
I mean, you can try to get the seller to do it. It doesn't mean they're going to.
Yep.
But you got to at least try. And I know Team Imagine did try.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. And then at the top for the listings, we had Denise and David Brindle had a listing. This was just real simple. This is basically most of these on here are going to be doing the boring things till the boring things get exciting. So Denise and David do open houses and are farming in the Sun City area. So this is a result of sitting in open houses, following up with people, doing the farming around the area, being seen, making sure when they do an open house, they have signs everywhere and go invite everyone and follow back up with everyone. And that's where they got this opportunity here for. Then Heidi Seddon, again, doing the boring things till the boring things get exciting. She put a listing in Hunter's Green. She's been following up with these people for over a year. It's a past client sphere of influence referral, and she just continues to follow up once a month over the year, and it came to fruition in a listing. Two more on here for contracts. LaShonda Mangum has 2 contracts on here. She has been very active inside of her farm, inside of her sphere on social media. So she's been marketing herself like crazy. And then now she is having her her sphere of influence referring business to her. They're telling her, she got a call from this from the referral. And she says, so yeah, we have a mutual friend. And she told me that you were the only one that she would trust buying or selling a home. So she contacted her, and within a short period of time, she was able to get both of them under contract. And then the last one, really cool story, Jackie Stone, you know, she does everything that we ask her to do for closings. She called all of her past clients, which she does probably 2 or 3 times a week, sends 5 to 10 text messages a day, and picks up the phone. And she has a past client who is a $250,000 buyer. Be honest, how many of you would have considered throwing in the towel or said, hey, you may just want to sit down right now. 250,000 is not happening. And this is like 3 months ago. A lot of you would have been a little hesitant to take an opportunity like that, or been frustrated that you're dealing with a $250,000 buyer. She got them to a down payment assistance program, got $15,000 in down payment assistance, went out and started looking at properties, got them under contract where the seller was paying all their closing costs. They were only approved for $250,000, but because of the down payment assistance and the seller paying their closing costs, they were able to bump the price up to $265,000 and get a $265,000 home, get it under contract. And they just closed last week on Friday.
Wow. That's effort right there.
So just real quick on the closing for Andy, that home was listed at 550. They did a 10,000, I guess 549.9, and they did a $10,000 reduction after 3 to 4 weeks. And then obviously the sales price came at, I believe, 537, and they had the inspection done, and there was a few things that they had to do, like stretch the carpet and some other little minor things, but you could see where the seller had to reduce the price in order to make it work.
That's what I wanted to hear. So the real life scenarios of what's really happened out there. Terry, don't you have a couple? You got Cheryl? I think Carissa.
Yes, Cheryl, she had a contract last week. She's actually really busy. She's working her sphere really strong, doing a lot of neighborhood stuff, very involved. And so I reached out to her last night, but I haven't heard back from her. But I know she's out there working, doing a phenomenal job working her sphere. And Carissa.
And she's doing a great job. She's winning a lot of Op City deals right now too.
Yeah, exactly. And actually that one from this past week could have been an Op City. I thought she said it was her sphere, but she does a really good job. She's a fantastic converter. Carissa Schmidt, who is brand new with us, she is just really a top-notch agent. And she came over from Berkshire Hathaway office over here in Trinity. And she works her sphere very, very strong. We had a good conversation, and she just knows in this market what she's got to do. And so she's going to kill it. But yeah, she had a really nice contract last week as well. And also is very complimentary of everything that we have for our agents.
Very nice. Joe, did you know anything about Jessica had a closing in Cedarwood Village?
Yes, Jessica and I talked yesterday. That actually went under contract back like several months ago. So it's in a different market. So it's just closed. It just happened to close. So we weren't really going to bring it up because it really doesn't fit what we're.
If it went through months and months of contract, I wonder if their interest rate got bumped from what they thought was going to be 3 into 5.5.
That part I don't know. She and I just decided that it was so long ago that it really didn't fit our market right now.
All right, so what's your takeaway from this? What works? Everything. Right? Open houses got listings, spheres of influence contributed buyers, farming got efforts. What else? Follow up, networking.
Referral
The
sources,
ideas. Say it again, Chris.
referral sources. So
Referral sources.
everything.
Past clients.
So basically everything works, right? So all we got to do is consistently go after one thing and then dabble in the other things as the opportunities persist, right? I mean, I think everybody needs to stay in touch with their sphere of influence, however big or small it is. If you're blessed to have a big one, you could make a whole career out of just that. But if you're not blessed, then you got to throw in the other activities. I just thought yesterday was an interesting idea to say, look at the things that are working. And the answer is everything's working. We've got to do more of it. So very cool stuff. Thanks. We might have to try doing that again with a little more stuff. All right. I'm just going to show you some stats now. This is my Craig's mailbag. I listen to the country station in the morning in the radio in the shower. And it's called Bobby's Mailbag. He takes the inboxes and he talks about the notes that he gets from his fans. So this is Craig's mailbox, right? So I'm going to show you in no particular order. Upcoming realtor event. I think it's really important, guys. These builders are on our side right now. They are, pardon my French, shitting bricks. Interest rates has doubled. They've got millions of dollars of inventory sitting in the ground at high interest rates now. And they've got to move this inventory. So they're paying you bonuses. They're paying closing costs. You need to know this stuff. So they're going to do an event at Berry Bay in Waimama, wherever the hell that is. But they're going to have a bunch of inventory coming up. I drove through Mangrove Bay yesterday on the way out from the grocery store. Oh my, there's got to be 45 houses under construction in there right now. And they're starting in the 400s. Crazy. Op City. This is our weekly Op City date. So if you're a converter, this is what you're competing with. In the last 7 days, our team accepted 7 new referrals. They're working 151 active referrals. Let me just qualify. They should be working 151 active referrals and have 69 on long-term hold. Currently, 12 agents are active and 0 agents are not receiving lead alerts due to overdue payments. That's good news. In addition, your team won 7 of 44 attempts to claim a referral with a winning click time of 9 seconds compared to an overall average click time of 1 minute and 24 seconds. So that's what's going on. This is speed to lead. We're back to speed to lead if you want to be a converter and compete for these leads. Here's individual stats. Heidi, she was sent 13. She clicked on 12. She didn't win any. Right. And that's not a discount to Heidi. I'm just telling you, this is the game you're playing because they're broadcasting these leads out to all these people. So if you're going to play that game, you got to play it right. Right. That's not like Kenny Rogers. Andrea DiFilippo, she's crushing it too. She got 11 opportunities, clicked on 9, didn't win any. But then Cheryl, Terry, we were just talking about her, 17 she clicked on, she clicked on 12 and she won 5. So that's crazy. 8, 5, and 1, you're seeing there's a lot of people aren't getting any. And that's because I don't know why they're narrow, the zip codes are too narrow or whatever.
There's been an issue with their app. So if any of you are experiencing an issue, whenever a lead comes through and it comes through, notifies them through the app, when they click on it, typically there was always a button for them to claim right away, but it's taking longer. They have to click another button and then wait for the claim button to come up, and it's causing a delay. And that's what Heidi and one other person said the same thing. Their app has changed in the way that it's delivering, and it's taking 2 clicks and it's delaying before it gives them an opportunity. They've reached out to OpCity. I would recommend you do the same if you're having the same concern with their app. They'll tell you to download it, re-upload it, and they'll put a ticket in with tech if you're having that same issue with it.
Yeah. Lauren got 11, clicked on 811. So I just share that with you so you know, and we're getting a lot more OpCity leads. I'll show you that in a minute. but that's how it works. This was interesting. This is Ribbon. And it's just interesting to me that what gets measured gets done, because we started talking about Ribbon. The thing about Ribbon is it's not necessary really anymore to guarantee your offer. In a competitive bid situation, we have multiple offers, it was, but they've pivoted and now Ribbon will guarantee your offer. So if you got a seller who has to be in Denver by October 14th, and you got a buyer who's got financing and may have a problem, or a home sale contingency buyer or something, either the seller or the buyer could pay the 1% Ribbon fee. Ribbon will interview the loan officer, qualify the buyer themselves, and then they'll guarantee that close date for 1%. That's huge for somebody who needs to be in a house or out of a house by a certain date, right? So I just want you to know that's out there, because awareness gives you flexibility options, and options give you power. But you have to be certified and registered with Ribbon in order to play that game, or you're going to miss out, because they need to know up front. So just newly signed up agents. So Kalani signed up last week, Jackie signed up, Nancy Conley signed up, and Sean Stewart signed up. So I just wanted you to remind yourself that maybe if you're not signed up, and those of you who are on this call are probably the ones who are signed up, because we have 103 agents on and we have 107 on the screen. So you're probably that group. But if you're not, become part of that group so you can use the tool if in fact you need to. These are the training recaps. Angelique spends a lot of time sending these out, because in case you missed a class, we're not doing these for our health. But I wanted to call out the Q&A with Paramount Title. It really was fun, and it was very interesting, because there's a fine line between right and wrong and black and white, and a lot of things are just simply gray. Right. And I think it's what bring awareness to you of some challenges that you may encounter in certain deals. So it's kind of fun to watch if you ever get a chance to go back and do that. This was interesting. This is a double effect. So Ojo, reminder, I say this a lot, but you should know, listing agent gets the century21.com inquiries. If they answer it timely, they get it. If they don't, it rolls to Ojo. 52 rolled to Ojo last 7 days, and they returned 10. They usually return 10%. So it'd be 5. They doubled it. And I'm really proud of this, because our acceptance rate was 90%. And we're down to 30% referrals out of compliance. Out of compliance means you're not making updates to the system, which is remembering that, and it's going to ding you in the future for new opportunities. But that was just a fluke to me that Ojo sent back 20% of the leads we sent them, which could be an indication that the leads are better now. But nevertheless, if you were an agent and you got 52 leads and you performed diligent follow-up on all 52, only 10 are probably going to talk to you. So just get that expectation set when you're doing lead follow-up. A lot of people aren't ready then. And OpCity and Ojo and all those companies are making multiple varied attempts between phone calls, emails, and text messages, and still getting a 5 to 10 to 20% return rate. So I'm just pointing out the industry effects of what's really going on. Jimmy, you want to demonstrate that? Now we're not going to demonstrate. You did how to do it. So the wizard article as an example, Jimmy's putting those into Moxie. It's so simple, guys. You just log into Moxie and then go to presentations, choose a new presentation, choose a non-listing presentation, choose the September wizard article, and hit create. And then you can send it, or you can just copy the link from up here and you can text it. You can do all kinds of cool stuff, and it takes them straight to the thing. It's really, really cool. And I want you to get real comfortable with using that. Or you can e-blast it. If you've got a database in your Moxie, you can create a campaign and send it out to everybody. And that would be kind of cool too. So that's out there in there for the taking. So I just wrote down my today to-do list, because my to-do list is too freaking big. So I broke the important things down to today. And this is probably something you could put on your important thing today. Get that done, right? Send it up to your sphere, send it to a couple of people, just get comfortable using it.
Mark
And
your Moxie
what's that?
and bookmark your Moxie on your web browser at the top.
Yep.
Just bookmark it and it's easy access.
Yep, star it. And then one of the things Otis brought up, Otis is on the board of NAREP, which is a National Association of National Association of Latin American Real Estate People. No. Real estate, oh, help me, Otis. National Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, NAREP.
Yes, that's it.
Got it. And I've had Century 21 meetings on this, and they're saying, hey, guys, the Hispanic population is growing and they are buying homes, and we really need to adapt to them. And, you know, not all Hispanics only speak Spanish. They speak Spanish and English. So there's an opportunity for gringos too, right? Home ownership as a vehicle for wealth creation in Florida, 52% Hispanic home ownership rate. 53% of Latino renters in Florida plan to buy a house in the next 5 years, compared to 37% of all renters in the US overall. 18% of Latino households in Florida own an investment property, compared to 14% of US population overall. For those that have been able to save during the pandemic, 28% of Latinos in Florida are saving to buy real estate. So it's a big incentive, and Otis is going to teach us more about that. And part of his recruiting incentive is going to be to drive more Hispanics, because we need to sell more houses, right? So I just thought that was interesting.
In addition to that too, just on the Moxie standpoint, we are working on having the listing presentation preview and the buyer presentation all done in Spanish. So that is almost complete.
In the works right now.
We'll have that out for your clients.
Super cool. All right. Some reminders, Moxie help at C21B. If you get stuck, email that address and it will take care of you. Time to register for the Top Agent Retreat in Arizona. It's going to sell out. So if you want to go, that's in Phoenix. You go to www.century21events.com to get all the information. Make sure you get the Moxie Leads engine number, the social site for my daughter Samantha, if she's doing some really good content. We're going to get an interview with Danny, the new attorney from Paramount Title. And then we got an Easter Seals, save the date for getting on the business event in November. I can't believe it's almost middle of September already. Blows my mind. Pictures over here. And we're getting there. Lead updates, 29% increase over last week. Last week was a holiday weekend. We're down to 133. We're up to 172. Zap Century 21 leads are just our strongest. 88 last week, 27 for relocation, almost double the week before. Op City, nothing last week, 21 this week. That's growing because our agents are doing well and the app has recognized them, which is cool. Walk-ins doubled this week. Sign calls stayed about the same. Zillow Flex almost doubled again, and nobody used Social Ad Engine this week. So that's kind of there. And I wrote this down again. When new leads go slow, go back and nurture the old leads. Remember, we were doing 300 leads a week about a couple months ago. So we're down 50% from where we were. And that's what I'm saying. The market is changing. It's decelerating. That's the word. It's not right, appreciating. It's decelerating. So when new leads go slow, go back and nurture the olds. They're in there. Just sit down and ping them. If you're in a doctor's lobby or something, ping out your Zapper. Now it's your leads engine, and just send a text and do it all through the app. And then I wrote down how many people quit looking after they lost out on many homes. Find them again. That's kind of the key to that. Birthdays this week: Kathy Jacobson from Apollo Beach, Wesley King from Sun City Center, Yana Viktorzewska from South Tampa on the 13th, Amber Stodart from Madeira Beach on the 13th, Chad Weiser from South Tampa on the 14th, Marcine Watson from Walton from Sun City Center on the 16th, along with Luisa Ruiz. And then the 17th is Charlie Curtis, along with Melissa Ryan and Carlos Montero. So pretty big birthday week this week. And what do you talk about that? That's all I got. Do we have any other comments, Mr. Beggins?
Nothing that hasn't already been said today. I think that
You said all the words?
I think you said all the words. I'm just excited about the new next level, because all of us need to sharpen up and get ready, because this is the market that we're all going to be able to capture amazing market share and come out way stronger than we went into it. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too, and tune in and show up. But everybody here is.
Hey, I watched your update yesterday on the Harbor condos.
Yep.
That's looking pretty sweet.
It's getting there, man. Almost there in the final Final
got
hurdle
They
on.
got water on, they got air conditioning on 3 of the 5 floors.
Yep.
That's gonna be a big, how many units? Is 38 units in total?
Sewers being hooked up right now today. Well, it's in the process of being hooked up today. Yeah, 38 units on that one. And then the pilings are being poured on the residences next door. We're going to be launching Pelican properties on the MLS. So I want to take a quick second on this one because it's not on the MLS right now. These are go to thebeachprojects.com. We haven't talked about this in a little while, thebeachprojects.com. It's non-branded, no contact goes back to anybody. But what to push right now are those John Pass Retreat 9-bedroom homes. They're $3.8 million and they're gonna be nice, really nice properties, and they're gonna be amazing cash flows. So go on there. Craig's showing you how. You could just copy this link, post it, do a thing, and just, you know, whether or not buyers buy it, it's just showing that you have inventory that other people don't.
But
So-
I've gone there before, thebeachcondos.com, right?
You're on it right there. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That was,
I'm sharing it.
Oh.
Thebeachprojects.com.
oh, the beach
Yeah.
projects. Okay, got it.
And there are Moxie presentations that are created for these. So if you want to start sending Moxie presentations, there's links and there's information for the beach projects that you can use that'll have your branding as well.
Hey, Chris, let's talk offline after this. I want to embed those in here if we can.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get with,
Mike
I'll
will
get
get
Jimmy,
on that.
I'll get Jimmy and I will shoot you a message and we'll figure out how to get that done.
Cool.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit because these are the Pelicans. They're multi-bedroom. And Jeff, the forecast for income is like 300,000, 250.
Now, almost 500,000, the mid 400 to 500,000 range. These are
They're
bedrooms.
$3 million buildings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get copied on a lot of triple net leases, right? It's called mailbox money. So guys that sell their businesses or whatever, they'll take their my doctor neighbor over here just sold some land in Waimama, like 40 acres, and he got a couple $1 million. And he didn't know what to do with it. So he bought a Dollar General in Georgia. Right? So for the next 20 years, he's going to get $7,000 a month coming in for his deal. Right? And they're judged on what's called cap rates. And I looked at a couple deals yesterday just because it's fascinating to me. And the cap rate, if I went to borrow money, it was a Taco Bell with a 20-year lease at $19 a foot. And it was like $1.7 million. So if I put $350,000 down, my payment would be $5,000 a month. But the rental income is only $3,600. So then I did it backwards and said, okay, I'm going to pay cash for it. What's my cash on cash return? And it was 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
So these investors that are clamoring, it's safe investments, right? Because chances are Taco Bell's not closing down. And you're going to get your rent every month, and it's triple net. And if the sidewalk's dirty, they're going to clean it, not call you and all that other crap. They pay the taxes and the insurance. They do all that stuff. So it's really simple on the management side to buy these triple net leases, and it's a safe flow for money, but the return is low because they're safe. Take a $3 million condo that's throwing off $500,000 a year. Those returns are astronomical.
Especially when you leverage it, Craig, you put in 750 grand down, and then you're got a 2-year payback. And then you've got cash flow coming. So when these hit the market, they're gone, right? So what I want you guys to do is have them hit your market before we hit the market, because I really don't want other companies getting a $3.6 million sale. I want you guys getting a $3.6 million sale. So
One of Aix's customers called me, and he got an unsolicited offer. He owns 17 houses here in Apollo Beach. And he's collecting under market rents, but he's making 30 grand a month,
Mhm.
which is pretty good. But he got an offer to sell the whole thing for $4.2 million.
there you go.
And so he came to me and says, what do I do? And I said, what we always say, I said, well, don't sell it unless you got a better use for the money. He
Yep.
says, well, the houses are getting older. It's a pain in the ass for me to collect 17 rent checks every month. He's managing himself. And so I left it at that because he didn't know what to do. And then I sent him a link by text to the beachprojects.com. And think about that. So he could sell his $4 million portfolio over here that he's making $360,000 a year on, put $3 million into this house, get one rent check after a management company is doing it for him, and still have $1.5 million left over to travel around the country in. So that's a better use for the money. But if I didn't have the awareness, and now I need to follow up with them, so I just reminded myself of that. or get Aisha to follow up with them. But if I didn't have the awareness that that was out there, I could have directed them to a shitty little Taco Bell in Peoria, Illinois.
Right.
Which would have given a 3.5% return, not very good. So that's why we share these things with you and explain the process so that you can have an articulate conversation and then pass it on. Right? Jeff will jump in and explain it to them, and then we'll introduce them to the management company who will go through Performa with them.
That's right.
Right?
Hey, you guys just get somebody interested. I'll jump on a Zoom with you, jump on a phone call with you and help you close it. And as with any of our projects that we do, but these are no brainers, guys. I would love for you guys to, what would a $3.695 million sale do for you? And also we're selling with construction perm financing, so they close quickly. So what would a $3.6 million closing do for you right before rolling into the holidays?
That's $100,000 on one sale.
That's right. Right. So think about that. The income projections, Kim, are on the website, and they are third-party projections, right? Remember very carefully, we do not sell income streams. We do not sell investments. We're not SEC. We're not regulated. This is just a company we have nothing to do with that said, hey, this is what we think they're going to bring in. If we'd like to manage them for you. So that's what they have this one here. So, and they're almost 470 grand or whatever it is that they think it's coming in there. So it's pretty big.
If
So
you go to thebeachprojects.com, you have all the projects there. The one we're talking about is the John's Pass Retreat at the bottom. Click Explore John's Pass Retreat. And then just scroll down if you want more info. You got download all your finishes and home specs. Here's your rental projections right in the middle with the pricing.
And if they don't have the ability to put a few friends together for the 3.6 million, sell them one of the Capri, which is one up from there. They're only $1.7 million, and they're bringing in about 200 grand a year. So it depends on what you want. You have something for people that are looking for cash flow. Cash flow investments are insulated in a market like this, guys. That's why we've been focusing on these things. So do what you can. Let me know I can help you, but I would love to see you pop a few $1 million left in your this quarter. So let me know I can help.
Let me show you one more thing while we've got your attention here. This is the blog I get every morning. Not this one. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Chris, you gotta let me share. You gotta stop sharing. Where is
You're
it?
good.
Inbox. Elliot, there it is. All right, so Zoom, share. Listen to this. This is fascinating. Waning worth. I hate these misleading topics. And at the end of 2019, household and nonprofit organization net worth totaled $116 trillion. Then quickly sank to $110 trillion by March of 2021 due to the COVID-induced stock market decline. Over the next 7 quarters, with the government stimulus and a rebounding economy, net worth zoomed to a stratospheric $150 trillion and quarter four of 2021. That's the beginning of the end of the boom. It's since fallen by 150 billion, not trillion, in quarter one 2022, and 6.1 trillion in quarter two.
You get it?
Net worth is now $143 trillion. So look at the thing, it's waning worth. It went from 153 to 143, but it started before all this crap at 116. That's the accumulated wealth that people have in this country, and they don't know what to do with it. And there's really shitty investments out there because there's a flight to security, because Bitcoin goes up 5% today and comes down 7% tomorrow, and goes up 4%, then it comes down 3%. And Ethereum's doing the same thing. And I get a note every day, Cardano's down 4.8% today, but it'll be up 6% tomorrow. And it's just freaking people out. This is their life savings and their 401ks and their IRAs, and they're just dropping value, and people are freaking out. And all the financial advisors are saying, keep your money and keep contributing every month. We're buying low, which is probably the right strategy, but it's nerve wracking to watch your nest egg go. And there's a lot of people that have been doing a lot of work that have, what would it take, Jeff, down to buy that Capri, $1.7 million Capri, $340,000?
Yeah.
There's lots of people that have
Yeah.
$340,000 in their 401k.
And there's 3 couples that have 100 grand each can form an LLC and buy it in there too. So those are the ideas that we need to put out there.
So that's the type of stuff, guys. We're just going to keep plugging you in and giving you ideas. But you got to take these ideas and post about them, or talk about them, or go to networking groups and talk about them, or knock on neighborhood doors and pass out flyers, or whatever your converter archetype is. We're giving you content to push.
Trey.
And Bloom is pretty amazing because they come up with the idea and Jeff, Mike and I are gonna make a presentation on Thursday and there's a website up yesterday
Yep, exactly.
just to get things going. So all cool stuff out there. Are the income project? Yes, got it. Great. Thanks. Okay.
Thank
cool.
you, guys. I gotta jump to another one, but reach out, let me know, I can help you guys.
Thank you very much. Happy Tuesday, guys. Thanks for showing up. Big turnout today.